Fellow Sublime Text fanatics, welcome to tonight's live stream where we're going to be playing a little bit with Override Audit. If we can easily finish the one last feature that we're planning on doing, we're going to finish that up so that we can eventually push out a release and start working on fancy, cool new versions of that bad boy that target Sublime Text 4 explicitly, which is going to add a lot of cool new functionality and abilities to us. And if we have time after that in our 2-hour window, we're going to play around with Svelte, and in particular setting up a syntax for it, and Sublime Text setting up a LSP server for it as well, because that's something that we're going to be working on probably Wednesday and possibly Friday as well, playing around with that on my Twitch stream where I do regular streams the same time, but we go a lot later there until it's really about 4 or 5 hour stream both nights there where we do software development. I still use Sublime. I still take questions about Sublime. We just do it in a slightly different place. So, to start, hello Ashwin. I think we should jump on in, don't you think? And get stuff going. So let's go, because it took me a little bit longer. I realized I didn't have the new version of Merge installed, if you can imagine such a thing. I have, however, fixed that now, as you can see, including fixing a problem with my netrc. Now I have to wonder. Oof, cool. Now what it was that we were actually doing in that thing where I knew that what we were doing wasn't fully finished. And I'm not entirely sure if what we want to do is easy to pull off. We might need to do some refactoring of stuff. But then after that, as I mentioned, we're going to play around with installing the Svelte package if we have time. And also there's a Svelte US LSP package, rather, because this is something we're going to be working on in Twitch streams. And I'm also going to be working on more YouTube video stuff. If you're in my Discord, or you may have seen the sample that I posted last night, I've finally gotten the new video production laptop into some semblance of having the appropriate tools and such. Absolutely everything about my workflow in creating videos has changed, or will change rather, as a result of the new stuff that I have going. So it's going to take a little bit of getting used to doing everything in an entirely different way. It's going to be maybe a little bit of a speed bump initially, but it's going to make creating videos that much faster and easier going forward. I have a pad similar to this one over by the desk with just tons of notes scribbled on it, because I'm used to doing something like trying to fit as many scenes as I can into one recording, and I try to get one seamless take for each scene. So if I make a mistake or I'm not happy with what I said, I just go ahead and go again. And while that works, it does make editing the video together later more complicated, because if there's multiple takes in the same video file, you have to find the good one and pluck it out with a little bit of a trailer on either end to be able to splice it in. But with the new functionality that I have, I can cut loads off of stuff. This is live if you have a question, Luis. What I can actually do now is have the audio be recorded at the same time as the video, so I don't have to pull anything off the camera. It's already on the computer. That saves time. I don't have to post-process the audio. That saves time. I don't have to try to line up the recorded audio with the video any longer, which sometimes works automatically and sometimes doesn't, or it loses sync over time. So that's a time saver, and it allows me to start and stop on each scene or each take of a scene. And that's the part where I'm not used to making a mistake and then just hitting a key and going again. I just like leave a pause and go. We may end up doing something like that anyway, as long as you know it's always the last take or something. I have to see how that whole thing works out. But the new system is ridiculously fast, so that's good. I think I still need to play around a bit with some recording settings because so much equipment has changed. In any case, that's some excitement that's happening soonish. Anyway, I need to oops, I didn't turn the sound off on my phone, pardonnez-moi. I stayed up rather late last night getting the last bits of stuff set up. There we go. So we don't get interrupted by that. And I think there may still be a couple of presets. I'm not sure. Because the video in that didn't quite look right to me. And it's been so long since I recorded, I don't know if it didn't look right because I wasn't wearing the right shirt. So the overall cast of light and dark, the frame rate, although it appears to be a rock solid 30, seems a little floaty to me somehow. It could be something has changed. It could be that I still missed an encoding preset somewhere, or it could just be that my brain refuses to acknowledge that things are the same. The stuff that we were working on that is going to need a little bit of work is one of the commands, one of the hovers, if you will. Where is that actually? That's in the this bad boy right here. One of the things that we have here has a link to a package in it, or something that is supposed to generate a link to a package, but we're not currently passing it in. And I can't remember which. It's definitely something related to that for sure. And that is going to be, if it starts with help, it doesn't. Oh, I think we gathered so that it will generate with a name. I gotta remember which one it actually is. So let's see. It's not oh, it's info, pardon me. I need to try to set up JS custom to syntax highlight this stuff with HTML. It's not that one. Diff report. This override is expired. So let's see. Oh, sorry. Dunk. Bulk diff for overrides in 4 packages. Yeah. So maybe we want that to target. That could be the one of the situations we could do something with here. I think we set it up so that it would actually still work, but let's say info diff pass package. That's one, because then when you hover over this, you could say you could use the diff report and it could generate one for just this package and not for all packages, which is currently what it's doing. That might be the only one of these things that we sort of left off. I could swear that there's still one more though. Boop, boop, boo. Which one is this? For, shipped packages in a package report. You should create an override instead. That part, that should work. We could potentially pass a package name to that. So that one's harder to pull off though. I don't think that's the one either, because I seem to recall there was one that was definitely not working, or would have been broken otherwise. But maybe not. Maybe I'm just misremembering that. Don't do that. Basically, if we, I seem to recall that there was one that needed a package to be able to do something, and we hadn't implemented it, and we were just going to punt it and do it in the next stream, and then we ended up doing something else last time instead. So we need to fix that. If that's not the case, then we could potentially push this the way it is and use that as the first feature that's added in the next version, if you will. So let's see, if we're looking at not help, don't care about help, we care about info in this particular case. Browse data dir is just going to work. That's just going to open the package. That's something that we would see from one of these. You can click that and open the data directory directly, which should be handy. This one is, this override is expired, and it's just using diff report, so it generates a diff for everything, not just the package that it's in. Could be something we could fix. That's on the list. And then the next one is creating an override. That's the one from the other package that we just looked at, which will still work, but it would be nice if it didn't, if it worked a different way. The same sort of thing also happens from here as well. It might actually be easier to find the package name for one of these instead of that. Those are the only two things that you could create an override for. It wouldn't display it in there because that would make no sense. And that is all of them. All right, so technically we could just roll with this, but I kind of like the idea of changing that up a little bit. So we would need to find the most previous entity name package enabled to any position in the buffer. In this particular case, it's handy because it works on the current line. So we could kind of cheat that one a little bit. This one, on the other hand, requires more juice because it has to look backwards to know that because this is associated with this override, it's inside of this package, for example. But we already have code to do that because this knows how that this thing is in a particular package. It needs to know for some of the stuff that it does, particularly this. For example, it needs to know that it's in the default package when it does it. So how are we doing that is an intriguing question, and then we can tack in both of those inside of that info, and we'll be done with that particular feature, I would think, and then we can move on to other stuff. Well, maybe even work on showing you guys what it's like to update a package version as well. I haven't given that a lot of thought, so that's something that could easily go pear-shaped, but that's the sort of thing that's fun to do live, right? Because generally speaking, pushing a new version would be very easy to do, but in this particular case, more complicated by the fact that we are going to swap tags that we're using, so that newer versions after this will only be installed by Sublime Text 4 and not installable by Sublime Text 3, unless somebody in chat tells me that package control currently doesn't support packages that only support Sublime Text 4. Dependencies notwithstanding. I don't think that's the case, though. Pretty sure people are doing that even now. Or I can't see any reason why it wouldn't work. Anyway, it's perhaps a better way to go with that. So let's see. Where would something like that actually be called? We're gonna look at the, let's size that down a little bit so we have more room here. Context helper. Finds the appropriate target and package override diff options based on where it's used. All right, so incidentally, if you're watching this and you also watch my Twitch streams, what are your thoughts on having Twitch VODs up here? Not on this channel, I put them on the other one, but that's something that a couple of people have asked me about. I could actually add them in a unlisted kind of way here. Or maybe conventional wisdom on, this is the bit of code we want right here. Conventional wisdom on having live stream replays public might have changed, in which case we could just leave this thing public instead of unlisting them all right after. But the reason that I do that now, and that's why there's a playlist for Sublime Text live videos that's linked down in the description of the video here, and all of the live streams, is because historically there wasn't any distinction between people watching a live replay of, or a live video, a replay, or sorry, no, a live video is replay, not a live or replay. A live video is replay or a video on the channel. And since the algorithm determines whether or not somebody wants to watch your content based on how much of it they watch, you can severely skew the results by having a 3-hour live stream VOD that someone looks at the first 5 minutes and says, I'm not interested in this, and then they stop watching, and then YouTube stops telling them about your videos. Twitch only keeps VODs for 2 weeks, unless I'm a Sublime, Amazon Prime or a partner, in which case it would be 30 days or 60 days or something, but it eventually deletes them. If I put them on Twitch, it would be one of those situations where I more or less, because everything I stream gets recorded at a higher quality level, or the same quality level actually, so maybe that might even be a little bit of something that we need to adjust to make the recordings a higher quality if we wanted to do something like that. But it would basically be like a re-upload of the thing so that it would last forever. I happen to have actually a replay of every live stream I've ever done ever. Eventually, yeah. If you look on the page, the VODs only go back for about 2 weeks. Well, that's not 100% true. One of the things that you can do in a Twitch VOD is highlight something. If something memorable happens, you can make a highlight out of it, which is kind of like a clip, but a little bit longer. If you do that, then the highlight hangs around, but the whole VOD it does not. That's the environment I'm aware anyway. Hello, Mohammed. Welcome in. If you or anybody else has any questions about Sublime or anything, feel free to throw them down in the chat, even though we're currently working on a thing here. We are totally available for asking help. Yeah, it's sort of an unfortunate shirt to wear on live stream day, but I'm at the mercy of the t-shirt closet gods. There's just several cubby holes, and I go through the shirts one at a time until eventually I get to the end, and then I cycle back to the start and go again. Major usability issue, what, for Twitch? The code that we want is basically that. So let's bring that over to the on hover Pajango. Both of these particular places, theoretically. Oh, well, I mean, at some level, I guess they don't have the deep storage pockets that Google has, but also it's totally an impetus on you to be a Twitch Prime user or an Amazon Prime user, because not only do you get one free Amazon, your Amazon Prime gets you one free Prime sub a month that you can give to anybody you want, and also you gain access to having your VODs for 60 days. Things in most live streams tend to be ephemeral in the best case. I think we're sort of on an outlier because we are doing software development here. So that's the sort of thing that people might want to actually go back and see what was going on, which is part of the reason why I record them. And it also makes me think, like, if I did put them up, then I'd probably want to edit around stuff and remove a bunch of this rambly thing so that you just see coding happening. That seems like a lot of work, though. You know, going through 4 hours of footage to come up with the 20 minutes where we're actually coding. Haha. Let's see. If it's not hovering over text, go away. If it's not on a package, override meta package. If it's not in an override thing on a package, an override or a package, leave, because we don't care. Grab the text, say it's not detailed. If it's a package name, then we do something based on the report type, and we have to pass in a particular link. I could really front load that channel with a bunch of stuff, I'll tell you that. I'll look into that again to see what the YouTube wisdom is for that sort of thing, or at least for these, because YouTube knows the difference between something that's a video and something that's a live replay. So I would think that maybe they could make sure that the live replays don't skew the algorithm results now in a way that they didn't a couple of years ago. But basically, I don't want to hurt my ability to get people tutorial information that they might need just because they stumble on a big long video on doing package development or something and they're not interested in it. Because I know that's not for everybody. What is... yeah, that very reason is why there's an ODAT Nerd channel and a personal channel, which I think is actually still linked down below. Maybe not. I might not have. Where I used to stream before I decided that, for better or for worse, I should stream on this channel because I'm doing content that's supported for this one, for this particular channel. What's the best way to pull this off is another important question besides that. Because if it's the name of a package, then we know someone's hovering over something. But otherwise, there's some more action we have to do here. You know what? Just because I'm curious, We're not going to do that. And we're not going to do that because we already have a point. We can just do this. It'll find the list of all of the packages that exist in this report, and if there is one, it finds the lines and then finds the one where this point is. So let's say we, instead of returning that, we print it instead. We could do something like package and that. One way or the other, it's going to do that. Just because I'm curious what it'll actually do. Yeah, I had the same sort of. People ask me sometimes to do like coding tutorials and not just Sublime tutorials, but like teach me how to do Python, or you're doing JavaScript on Twitch, show me how to do Twitch. Like one of the big ones was, you know, we work a lot with doing OAuth authentication with Twitch, and that's one of those things that confuses a lot of people. And they're like, "Can you make a video about that?" And I'm like, I could, but my channel is kind of themed towards Sublime Text tutorials and less about coding. So maybe I need an extra channel, you know? And I just got to convince everybody that's subscribed to this one to also subscribe to that one too. Okay, let's see what we get here. Whoops. There are various features of YouTube that don't become open to you until you get certain numbers of subscribers. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of, if there is something like that, that it would be something that is distinct for the purpose. Oh, all right. Maybe we should fix that to not be broken, huh? Because it's not self.view, broham. It's just view. Oh, don't go that far. Just those ones. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, I guess we should probably import that bisect thingy, huh? Where do we grab it? Like that. I knew I was forgetting something. I think it needs to go there, because that's just how that works. If I could support something like that, I totally would. Like, I'm still seriously pondering the idea of channel memberships with 99¢. I just like what you're doing. Have, you know, $1 a month, or then also like a $5. I like what you're doing. Have $5 a month. But I can't think of anything to provide until I get into video editing deep. One of the reasons why I have all of this new stuff, new ways to record videos, is because for the last couple of years when I was doing videos, it was very much I would through the week work up the bullet point and the script, if you will, and then I would spend Saturday and Sunday recording it and editing it and getting it uploaded and doing all of that stuff. And eventually it just got the pace of it got a little overwhelming. But what I'm working towards now is a workflow where I can, you know, since I have a break, this is what stopped me from doing this before. I had such a long streak of never missing a week for a video that I didn't want to break it. So the time that I had available to me was insufficient for getting ahead. You know, I could have like a couple of vacation days here or there, but that's not really enough. But now that I've totally blown that by taking a 6-month vacation from video creation, I can make a clean start on that. So the idea is to record bunches of videos out ahead and get them all recorded first, and then in batches. I can be, these ones have all of the video footage cleaned up. These ones have all of these screencast parts done. These are rough edited. These are fully edited. These are uploaded. So I can always have a bunch of videos that are already uploaded, ready to go. So I'm like a month or two ahead. And if I get in a situation like that, one of the things I could do is have a channel membership tier where you get to have access to those videos in advance of anybody else. But I can't do that if I don't have videos in advance of anything else. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and I mean, technically I could find an editor, but this whole YouTube thing is entirely a hobby on my end, so I'm kind of deeply in the hole for all of the equipment that I've purchased to do it, but I just love doing it. But a one-off cost of buying a camera or buying some lights or buying some editing software or whatever, that's one thing, because the hobbies being what they are, but a hobby ongoing expense of paying somebody money to edit videos, that is not something that I can definitely pull. Yeah, the YouTube membership thing is very similar to Patreon in how it works. You can have up to 5 levels and you can price them pretty much however you like. So it's kind of a twofer on that. I could actually do both of those things. All right, well, that's working. Oh, it even works if it's on the same line. That's extra, boss. Now what if it's working this package thing here? That's default. That's package control loader. That's shipped. That's boss. Ha 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 ha. One of the other things, if you're familiar with Twitch, you know that you can have custom emotes and support badges that will appear next to your name in the chat and also in comments as well. That's something that channel memberships on YouTube can do as well. So aside of anything else, I'd love to have even like a 99-cent tier, just so people that watch can have that loyalty badge or be able to use like emotes and the like to express themselves in the chat. It's I'm not trying to make a bajillion dollars or any stretch of the imagination. That's why I think 99 cents is the cheapest you can actually go for something like that. Just as and people tend to ask sometimes, like, is there a way that I can support you? And I'm like, watch the videos. That's a good way to do that sort of thing. All right. How do we actually intend for this to work? I guess is probably the question of the hour, huh? Anything that hits in here could have the name of a package in it, right? It's gonna hit on, it's not gonna hit on a package name, and it's not gonna hit on one of those. It's only going to hit on anything we hover on that's not that. So an override, a meta override, a package override, which I guess is that. And that, not that those actually use that particular thing. So there's always going to be one. So that's one thing. And then the link is going to start with info, viewpoint link name, and then it's going to do the render pop-up, taking the link name, and if the link name starts with info, it grabs the topic. It could also grab the package the same as it does for that, right? All right, because it's not actually formatting anything currently. So, according to me, it could do that. According to me. So, that could potentially be spooky. Yeah, let's do this. We're only going to need it in here. So let's say package, let's say package is an empty string. Find entity name package. If we find any, it's going to do this. Is there any chance of there not being that in one of these things? I mean, probably not, right? So we could say package is equal to view dot subster and package region, like so. And then it'll fall through, and then we can do, let's do package then hover text, like that. That'll totally break info links, but if we come back up to here and then find the render pop-up again, because I have a poor memory and can never remember this sort of thing, this is the part where it's actually going to be looking at that. And what we were doing previously is, it goes topic package. I guess we probably should have done that in a different order, huh? Because we actually need something similar to what this is doing now. Take the link name, remove the info prefix on it, get the topic and the package by taking what's left and splitting it. And then we're going to get the topic, help text dot format package equals package, like that. And then we just got to find that other thing and swap the order of them so it goes topic then package. That's in another file, isn't it? That's in this file over here. Those two things should be in that order instead. I love that transpose command. I've been finding a lot of uses for that lately. You guys ever use that in your work? It's quite the handy little operation. Okay. So to some degree, that should probably still work as it did before. And then we can tweak up the help a little bit as well. And see where we go. We do that. Okay, so that's still working. Guy, did I not just tell you not to make any noise? What's the deal here? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, maybe I didn't push the button hard enough. Transposed in music? Hang on a second. Transposed in music? If I had some sort of foot pedal to make those kinds of sound effects play whenever I made a bad joke, that would be quite handy indeed. All right. That seems to do what we want still, including, say, that says it's expired. Yes, that says it's something. That mentions that. That'll still open the data directory, one presumes, to make sure we don't break anything. It totes does. That's cool. And we don't really care about you at the moment. But yes, diff report on that and create an override. I guess the next part is how well is that going to work? Let's find that thing we were searching for. Nope and nope. That one doesn't need one. Where does this appear? We can add it here. All right, cool. You can use the diff report to determine if you need to make any changes or incorporate, because this is an expired override. So peep what this is actually going to do now, and we'll be able to test this and see. If I hover over this, this is telling me this is expired, why it's expired, and you can use the diff report to determine if you need to make any changes. When I do this right now, it's diffing 4 packages. So we got a diff for default, binary, outliner, etc., 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 right? If I reload that, then when I click on this and click diff report, we get a diff report for default and only for default. It's the only thing that happens there. We'll do that again. Diff report, default, and only for default, which is exactly what we wanted for that one. That's going to be info diff. Boop, boop. The other one is override. That one may require a little bit more juice. Size that down again. So that particular command. Oh, it does. It does take one. Excelente. All right. So we do that again. That should be a package. This is the one for shipped packages. So again, if we look in this and we wanted to create an override in, I don't know, let's pick the closure package. If we create an override, it's asking us for the package first. But if I reload that and go again, then when I hit on closure and say create an override, it's showing me the contents of the closure package instead. That might be best described by having the cursor in this place so that when you do it, that's where the thing goes. So this is just the contents of the closure package, which is exactly what we want for that. The next one is the one for installed packages, which should do the same thing. So again, with the code as it currently exists, if I did this and did create an override, it's showing me all of the packages like that. But if I reload that and then do it, say for our binary, in this case, we just get to see what's in the binary, which it turns out is just a settings file. And then you could click it and see what's actually in there. But we'll go ahead and close that because we don't actually care. And I think that's pretty much all of the things that we need to do here. I don't think there's any more of those. Yeah. There's that one for a help of one. And this one is what comes in here. That's why that command actually exists. Where both of those commands exist and take package names rather, because you could hover over like say binary and say create new override. It knows there aren't any in that. In this package it knows there are. So you can create a new override in this package or view the differences of just that particular package. So that's cool. We haven't pushed that yet, I take it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look at that and say that what we changed was in some of this help, we're passing in a format string of package or a format expander of package, whatever you want to use as the functionality for that. There's one there, and there's one there, and there's one there. And if there's a link that starts with info, we strip off the info part of it to get just the topic : package, pull both of those out, and then get the help and format it with the passed in package so that that format placeholder that we just put in there totally expands out in all of those locations. And in the event file, we have this doubly little bit of code here. This is using bisect, which is why this is imported, so we definitely want that. This is finding all of the package names that are in the buffer as an array of regions, and if there are any, it grabs the lines where each of those things are, and then does a bisection on the list to find where would this particular item end up. if it was to be inserted in this list, which basically is a way to, because we know that the packages are ordered alphabetically. If you try to find a position where a particular region would, well, sorry, I guess it's not alphabetical in this particular case. It is, but that's beside the point. My bad, I misspoke on that. It's gathering the regions of them. So in the actual report that you look at, it knows this span of text and this span of text and this span of text, so on. And the bisect method basically says, if I was to put this thing into this already sorted array, where would it go? It gives us the index that is associated with that, which allows us to be able to say, if I was on this line, where would it go? You know, it basically wants to find the item that is on the same line as it or the next line up, which is why both of these things can go backwards and say, if this was a list of regions that were sorted, which it always is, and those are the entries that it has, this one must come after here, which is what allows us to look that whole thing up. That's probably a very terrible explanation of that whole operation, but nevertheless, that's what it's actually doing. And that's getting us the name of a package, or maybe it won't if somehow there's a report that has an expired override or one of these modifiers for something on an override or package without ever actually displaying a package. But I would argue that would be a serious breach of code protocol, if you will. So we're going to be fine with that. And then this part just makes sure that instead of just adding the text that was hovered over, which is the topic, it's now the topic and then the package. And all of those things taken together allow us to amend this previous commit and then modify the commit message as appropriate. Include the ability to provide hover pop-ups that provide more information on specific topics. This is implemented for the package type specifiers and reports, including the specific ones in the package report, as well as for the markers for different types of overrides. When hovering over some items, links are available, in the pop-up that will execute commands, including fixing that, creating a diff report, or both in the package and then we don't want those, and it's as if we never did that. So theoretically, that is that one set of stuff done. So if we go over this again, we're saying that 2.2.5 is an update to the hover pop-up that displays package information to make it clear that the commands that are implemented and the default package are available in all. Oh, that's right. We didn't add anything for this one, did we? That was the first thing. I forgot about that. Yeah. We modified this. So this is available in 3.8 and 3.3. But if you're doing something with this one's only available in 3.8, and this one's only available in 3.3, for example. But the default package is special. The code that's in it is available to both of the plugin hosts currently. So that's the first thing we did here. I had forgotten about that because it was a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago, I suppose. Then we modified the syntax to have more metascopes on the stuff that we're dealing with here, which allowed us to be able to know that we were hovering over items of that sort. Some of them already had scopes associated with them, but we cleaned those up to make them a little bit cooler and better. There is a fair bit associated with that, so syntax change, syntax change, syntax change for all of those things. These ones mark what kind of package they are in case that is interesting. And then we have tests for all of those particular things as well to verify that the syntax changes actually work. And then this last one is the thing that we just did, which include extra hover pop-ups. Let's just edit that real quick. Include extra hover pop-ups on different parts of the various reports that are available to help explain what is being seen, such as the package types and the text. Yeah, okay, that's one thing. there should be another one of those that is the messages file, right? Now we tweaked up the README slightly. I think I word wrapped it slightly differently than it was before. There's the messages file, and there's those changes that we just finished working on. So theoretically, we could actually prepare ourselves a release for this. So there's a few things that we need to do. One is a documentation update. We don't really have, I don't think, any documentation per se about hovering over things. But let's see. Good grief, I can't remember the name of the command that does it. We'll just do this then. Boop, boop, boo. Surely I have a open help type situation in here. Oh wait, is it in here? Whoops, pardon me. I'm looking for preferences. Teehee. Package settings over it. This is how I don't infrequently. How is this not linked from the command palette? That seems like a horrible oversight on my part. As is this color scheme. Let's do that, and let's unpin that because I'm fairly assured I don't actually care. Terminate, overrides, workflows, reports, commands. There's not a configuration option for this. What we would need to do is modify the changelog to represent the new version of this. But there's no other documentation for this as appropriate. So there's going to be extra action that happens in this situation too. So yeah, we're gonna do this live, and we're gonna see how horribly it eventually ends up. Just a second, real quick, like. That should be cool, I would assume. Yeah, all right. Just making sure. Bonk. Maximize you, and make sure this is in a situation where we can actually see it. So one thing is, what the hell is actually... I don't think that actually needs to still be here in this repository. Pardon me. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Did we change the fonts, or we weren't loading fonts securely? That's a bit of a stoop-nagel on my part, huh? We'll just do that. Size that down. So one thing is we change that. Oh, and interesting. That's weird. Is everybody still there? It decided for a brief moment that it wasn't getting any data, despite the fact that the bar is green all the way across. That's a little weird. Whatevs. Seems to be fine though. All right. Just gonna tweak that and say. Some links were not being fetched securely. We can do a little bit something like that. Now, what we're going to see here is that if we want to push a new release, the checklist of things to do is update the version banner on the main page. So that would be, we're going to find, whoop, whoop, whoop. That's me. That's packages. That is, override audit is this one. It's going to be 2.2.5 when we're done. So we do a little bit of that action. Update web changelog. So that's going to be these two items. And that's going to be in the actual documentation for this beast. So that's going to be somewhere in the vicinity of what? Change log. This is the right thing, right? Yeah, cool. Let's throw it. Oh, we're gonna have to tweak all that business up. Okay, let's see. Boom, boom. Scroll to 2.2.5. And then we bring that all the way up to here and go schwam. 2.2.5. The date is 2022-06 currently, I believe. Seems like it's probably the case. And then we do a little bit of this. We're going to need a couple of list items in here. Oops. That's going to be one. Yeah, get ready for the fireworks. I believe we do a little something like that. I was afraid of that. Let's try that again, shall we? What the hell ruler is that using? I guess we could probably tweak that up a little bit if that's the case. Oh, it's supposed to be wrapping at that one. Haha. Whoops. All right, well, let's do that manually then. Specificity is key. That's one thing, and then we're gonna need another one. I'm doing this in the right one, right? Yes, cool. Yeah, you go away, and then we just grab you. I could just change the setting, but I'm going to be done in less time than it would take to actually do so. I'm really digging on this new ruler setting. I tried to run it with solid. It seemed a little weird to me. All right. Now we take a look at this, and what did we do? We changed the ribbon on the front page from 2.2.4 to 2.2.5, and we added a new block for 2.5 with today's date that has those two items in it and a link to it in the little list of stuff. That is going to be update the page for release 2.2.5. Apparently, I rolled the other one into something else. Or I have more stuff locally than I have there. That's interesting. Should probably fix that too, I suppose. Dotted from solid. It's obvious to me locally, but I thought this one might read better on stream because the stippling is a little bit wider, but I haven't actually checked to see if that is actually the case. Modify web documentation as appropriate. Well, we added in hover help, but there's nothing in the documentation that tells you can do that for good or for ill, and I'm not interested in writing that live, so we're not going to worry about that. So ensure the package content meant for distribution by package control is up to date for the release. So we're going to update the README to document any new features that have been added. That's none. Update changelog to all new features and update date. All right. Well, that's something we can actually do something with, because that's going to be 2022-06-06, like so. New file and messages for package control updates. That is done. And it's actually this file here. Whoops, pardon me. Which we also need to tweak. Here, let's just do this because we don't really care about that part. So much like that's actually the right date, right? We need to do that here too. This is where the update message comes from. Update messages.json to reference the new message file. I'm pretty sure we already did that. There it is right there. We should probably do one of these things. JSON validator. Didn't break it. That's cool. I mean, it didn't look like it, but you can never be too careful. Merge branch to stable. All right. We're getting close to something exciting here. So here's what we're gonna do. We need to be in the appropriate repository. We need to have this merged into master first. So let's hang on. Let's actually check those changes in, shall we? Update the change logs. We're not going to put any message in there, I don't think. I don't think I normally do that. Oh, I guess we do it this way. Okay. This is how long it has been. 2.2.5. This release brings a couple of minor changes. Most in the hover pop-ups we provide on reports. The default package, is now more visibly documented to be in the 3.3 and be available in the 3.3 and 3.8 hosts, and such as X and S and the shorter form this build is the last build that is be made available for Sublime Text 3 users. And we're gonna check in both of those changes, but there's one more thing that we probably want to fiddle with here before we actually do anything with that. And that is, if we check in the change log, I think we said this version is functionally identical to the previous version, but is here to point out that no further reason. Okay, we want something like this in here. as well. Note, this is the last version of override audit that will be released for Sublime Text 3. With this release, the we want to put that there, and we also want to put it in this file too. Okay. Changes in this version, including the switch to Sublime Text 4. Check out the changelog of MD file. There we go. Not in that file, I assume. Where was the typo? There's 8 things misspelled in here, but that's not one of them. And that one's not a misspelling. Commit message. Or is it? This one? This is the last version. Oh. No, that's right. You've confused me, sir. Whoops. Stop it. Typo, this is the last version. Oh, I see. That's not a typo, that's a word out. I got you now. Hello, Mr. Red Sir. Boy, that really wrecked my noodle. Taking a break from ESO, sir? Oh. Okay, that is something we want to have in here. We'll make those changes in that particular file as well. So the main changelog mentions it, and this says this is the last release of override audit for Sublime Text 3 for the full details of the change, blah, 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 blah. We can stage that file, and then we can amend the previous commit. Yeah. I got there in the end. I hate the stupid job. I know the feeling. My life was one of those situations where someone said, hey, there's going to be a meeting at 11:30. So we all joined at 11:30, and the guy that started it postponed it to 12 while we were in there. So we just kept talking because we were there. And then 20 minutes after that, he was like, you know what? I'm really busy. We'll just do this tomorrow. And postponed it for 24 hours. And then everybody just kept talking for like another hour. So I ended up being in a non-meeting, and it's going to happen again tomorrow. It's freaky. Okay, now it's safe to check out master and merge additional pop-ups in with no fast forward. Like so. Oh, I forgot about that. I think I missed you playing that part. I ended up going on an extended walk with Walt. There's a lot of slow people on those walkways out there. Also, one of our neighbors let him go inside and snoop around in their house. That took a while. He barked at a child. He had fun. Okay. Merge branch to stable. All right. Well, I guess the one thing we should probably do is update that branch, because if that's master, then we should push that to origin and push that to push master to GitHub, like so. So that's the master branch. We need to bring that branch into stable. So yeah, then the next note is not that one. We'll worry about you in a minute there, guy. Oops. You. Update the README? Yes. Update the changelog? Yes. A new file for messages? Yes. Update messages.json? Yes. Merge branch to stable is the next part of this thing. So let's check out the old yon stable branch. And then merge master into stable. That can just proceed forwards. Awesome. Is it I mean, you're going to bed, so you probably don't even want to answer this right now, and we'll find out tomorrow, but I'm just curious if it's something that you play against other players or against the PC. I will admit, when I played Final Fantasy VIII, I spent a ridiculous amount of time playing Triple Triad instead of doing quests. And then I actually made a version of it because I'm a nerd, essentially. Okay, now here's where things get interesting. We need to tag this with release version, but we need to do this kind of like double-sidey, kinda. Let's see. We need to create tag. Tag name be 2.2.5 for this version. And the message is going to be release version 2.2.5. Ah, sweet. You can play with beautiful computers. Now, there's one more step that we have to do with this. And this is where things start to get a little sketchy. How did we pull this off previously is the question of the hour. Yeah, where's legacy 1.2? Oh. 1.2.2 was a legacy version. Where does that appear in this list? Good night, sir. I'd shout you out, but it won't work. And you're not a YouTube streamer anyway. So this isn't something that you normally have to do with one of these releases. But we're going to have to do some magic here. So here's what we're going to do. I wish I could actually find that tag. It must be inside of one of the merges or something. Oh, I guess I could probably navigate to tag like that. Oh. Well, that would explain why I can't find it, I suppose. That's mildly worrying. Is it listed here? Uh-oh. It should be tagged on which commit. This one. Did I not do that correctly? Why did that seem like it wasn't there? Navigate to tag. Legacy. Cannot find a tag matching. Well, in any case, this version is also going to be called create. Oh, wait, what did that actually? We want something like that too. Bully to me for totally remembering how Git commands work. We're going to create a tag here, and we're going to call it st3 v 2.2.5. That's the version of this, right? And then we're going to do this. Last version for st3, and that becomes 2.2.5, like so. All right, so that one needs to be tagged specifically. We'll see how well this actually goes. Let's try to work through this. If this is going to fail, this is going to be the part where it's going to be sketchy as all get out. What the hell's the name of that thing? One packages. Yeah. So this file represents our entry into package control for override audit. And it contains currently 2 releases, which is to say, if you use a version of Sublime Text from 3092 to 3196, you should get versions that start with the tag legacy-v, which means if you're using Sublime Text 2, this thing ain't going to be offered to you at all. If you're using Sublime Text 3 and it's one of those older builds, then it's going to install the version that's tagged legacy-v, which is the 1.2.2 legacy version. And that's the part that it's actually going to install. If you're using a version 3197 or higher, then it's just going to use the tag v, if you will. That's what makes the new 2.0 version of Override Audit only available to people that are using at least build 3197 or higher. We need to tweak this up so that there's a new entry in here. We change this one to say 3197 to 3199, I guess, or 3999 tags st3 dash whatever, and then we can add a new entry for greater than or equal to, well, not 4,000. That's sort of where we might need to tweak up that actual value. Now, the thing that I'm kind of curious about is, when I did this before, and there was that legacy version that, you know, it can't find, even though it's right here. Was there a there was a 1.2.1 and then a legacy 1.2.2. And then this thing was released. So this happened the 13th of March, and this happened the 13th of March, but a little bit later. That was 11:16 p.m. This was 11:37 p.m. So I basically cut 2 versions. What we're going to do here, and I wonder if I did that because I wanted this version to be 2.0. I'm curious if we should maybe make the legacy version Is it okay for that version number to overlap? I can't imagine why it wouldn't be, because it's going to be the same commit for both of them. But I guess we'll find out tomorrow when everything is broken, and then we figure it out and fix it, right? That's kind of the joy of doing this kind of thing live. So are we using anything currently that would require a newer version of Sublime Text? I sincerely hope not, because we currently think that we're using Sublime Text 3 for all of this stuff, right? We have stuff in here that sort of kind of could do something. Like the notion of different plugin hosts is abstracted in the code. If there's no file there, it assumes 3.3 because that's the legacy. So if you, for people that are using Sublime Text 3.3, it just always says 3.3 for everything. So I think that's probably cool. I think we probably want to do something like this. So let's see. Let's edit this file. You get that like nervous butterflies in your stomach kind of situation. What was the first publicly build version of this? We might actually put 4126 here. And make this say 3197-4125. And this would be that ST3V sort of situation. So anything that's tagged with V now requires build 4126 or higher. And anything that is build 3197 up to and including that one. Even though that's not technically Sublime Text 3, it's the last version that supports Sublime Text 3. And it allows us to say, as of right now, today, we can use any feature that's publicly available in Sublime in the package going forward. You know, whereas if we said 3197 to 3999 and then from 4000 on, well, there's a lot of things that are in this new build of Sublime that weren't there in build 4050 when we first started playing with it in the Discord for that, you know, year that it was semi-private beta. So we don't want to, we want to roll all of that into Sublime Text 3, I think is probably the better way to go for something like that. So that means that that should be all that we need. 3092 to 3196, 3097 to 4125, and greater than or equal to 4026 tags true. Let's just verify that we did that correctly. If we find all of the tags, there's an ST3-V 2.2.5 and a 2.2.5, and they are both. Some problems with getting ST3V to work. Released. Interesting. It should. It should. I mean, it's not what I did last time, but that's only because I was releasing 2.0. You may want to put the ST. Are they? I'm down with that. Surely it has to check the version number anyway. I guess that's just to sort of make it faster. Here. Let's do this. Also, hello, Jack. The last time that I did this, let's check the documentation on that, see if it says anything. The last time I did this, I was going from 1.2.2 to 2.0, but I released them both, and there were vast, vast differences. So I just went ahead with that. Review existing packages, pick a name, decide how to host, pick a versioning strategy, prepare your repository, add your repository to the default channel. Okay. That's kind of what I thought. Worth a check, though. I remember being incredibly paranoid about that originally. You know? But that's yeah, I would think that should be kosher. I am gonna do that that thing where I'm paranoid that I break the JSON validator. Yeah, I could always just type that in. Still valid, didn't break it. All right. That was a browser thing, wasn't it? I kind of lost track of what it was I was doing there. All right, so we're editing this. What kind of... I had ST3. Did it ST3 and ST3-V are different things? Maybe that's the reason. I think it has to have that little V prefix on there. Or I think it has to have whatever prefix you put here, if you put a prefix. So if this was tagged as ST3-V, but your tag was just ST3-1.0.7, it wouldn't work. But, you know, we'll find out soon enough, won't we? The other nice thing about this is this isn't exactly an earth-shattering change as well, which is semi-planned for. All right, I'm pretty sure that's going to do what we want. So, oh. I really feel like I should be writing this commit message in this to make sure that I'm not breaking the how that normally works. This change is being made in order to sorry. The release of version 2.2.5 is a split release that is available to whoops. And I'm sorry, I can't do it. I can't. Thank you. I'm just, it's too ingrained in me. Commit directly to the master branch. All right. We're breaking something horribly or not? Yeah, that would be neat, wouldn't it? All right. I guess one other thing we could do here is go, because now that we, last seen 1 hour ago. I think we have some time here to get this stuff up and going. But in theory, this will do what we want. So let's see. We got to push stable to origin. We got to push stable to GitHub. And we're going to push the tag 2.2.5 to GitHub. And we're going to push the tag 2.2.5 to origin. We're going to push the tag 2.2.5 to GitHub. Push tag 2.2.5 to origin. You can never have too many pushes. Whammo. Whoops. Push, 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 push. Egg and GitHub and egg and GitHub, and the stable branch has been pushed up. Swanky Swankersons. See, now we have all this other stuff that's just local that can be rebased on top of this. The patch file functionality, the browser panel extension stuff. The GitHub push? Oh, I have my own local Git server. That is my origin, so I can share it between actual GitHub and just for my own private usage. So I have multiple remotes, but by default everything tracks origin instead of GitHub, so I have to make an explicit move to actually share something with GitHub. All right, I guess the last part of this would be related to this, because I have this theory that this might appear in more than one place. And maybe we should tweak it. Wow, look at them all. Sorry, wrong key. It's 2022, right? Let's just tweak all those up. Could I have used a global find and replace? Yes, but I find those sorts of things a little... I mean, I guess it doesn't matter because this is actually in Git, so I didn't mean to do that. I think I hit the key too frequently there. I didn't tweak that one. Also, I got to remember how I mirrored this stuff up because it's been a while since I had to. We don't need you. There it is. I knew I missed one. Alrighty. Can never have too much of that stuff, right? Boom. All right. This is another example of that. If I push this to origin, it goes to my local in-house server named Egg, because this computer is named Dragon. But if I push to GitHub, that'll actually put it in the private repository and take it offline. Uh-oh. Oh. That can't be good for anybody. I can't remember when the last time was that I did that. Well, that's intriguing. What the hell is it unhappy about? I did a fetch, did I not? I usually do that. How did that get ahead of this? Did I edit it? Oh man, that would be a hell of a situation. We just keep monitoring this for the next 6 hours. When we see this number go up from 1 to 2 and then back to 1, we'll know that the thing is actually broken. I guess we probably want odatnerd.net. What the hell's Oh. I guess it's telling me that I did that, huh? Oh no, I didn't update the date on the change log. Lagasp. If the difference between this and this is a 2.2.3 version, but this one already has 2.2.3, I must have not checked it in. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to push this stuff to GitHub, and we're going to force release it. And now it's not a problem anymore. When in doubt, smash it out, I say. We should probably, if we're going to do that. There's a last touched thing in here that doesn't use wall clock time, I think. June 6th, 2022. There we go. Let's just stage that and amend the previous commit and diverge it. Because why not? I'm the only one that's using this repository. I'm allowed to destroy my own work, I think. There we go. Now, all we got to do is make this thing actually upload. So that ought to be fun. First of all, we might notice that if we look at the home page for this, oh, probably should change that. But that's a whole other situation, I suppose, huh? Well, it's going to bother me if I don't. So here we go. Because we're going to be working on something new next time. Sublime. Oops. Should we change this to 4? Or should we say it 3 plus 4? What do you think? 3 plus 4, let's say. It's probably where it's at. There may be more to do there, but you know. Whoops. Okay, so that's given us that. There's a demo video that's terrible. That takes you to the package control page. This goes to the documentation where we can look at it. And when we come in here, we can look at the change log for this thing and see that it was... we're going to need to tweak that part up when we come to some other part too. So we're not going to worry about that. But that says October 12th. And then there's the 2.2.4. And you know, that's also this thing here that one of those things we added there, so we can see all the versions there, but they're reversed here, so you can look at version 2 if you want and see what's actually there. Now all we got to do is make this web page go up here. Oh, the other part of this is if you look at the home page, the banner for this says 2.2.4, so we need to tweak that. Let's see. No, let's not do that. We'll do it here. Just gonna go there. How well does that actually work? I guess probably pretty good. Fingers crossed that I don't destroy my web page. All right. That's this part. Look, it says 2.2.5. That's exciting. Whoops. We're in this one. The override audit site index changed. And the change log. And all of those files whose date changed. So, if we clicked on that, it would take us to here. And we need to do that. Created by .NET for Sublime Text 3+4. And then if you click the old Dockaroo, you can go to full documentation where we can look at the change log. And it was last updated June 6th, 2022. It has a version 2.2.5. This part doesn't have that other thing that we wanted to put in there, but I want to change that anyway. So that's cool. That's the last thing that we can do here, and then we're gonna be done. And next stream, we can actually start worrying about all those cool new features that we want to include in this thing, because the world will be our oyster. This is something that I actually had a plan for partially when we split off version 2.2 initially. We're going to jump to 2.3 for the next release of this situation. So, but there's a few things that we want to do in this. One of those things is take better advantage of list input handlers, because the stuff that's in here doesn't really use those at all. Also, when we use quick panels, we can use kind information. So there's various annotations that we're just cramming onto the end of things that we can actively fix and make better now. So that'll be cool. Yeah. This is, I think that whole thing finished. Yeah, so here's what we're going to do. Just cuz. Let's do this. As of version 2.3, override audit requires Sublime Text 4 build 4126 plus. In the newer versions of Sublime Text. As of 2.3, override audit requires Sublime Text 4 build 4126 plus in order to take advantage of new features available only in the newer versions of the software. Let's not say the word Sublime Text so frequently, as exciting as it is. And we want to do one of these too. This is the last version of override audit that is targeted towards Sublime Text 3. All future versions will require Sublime Text 4 version 4126 or better. Maybe we actually want to do that too. All right. That is not the situation that we want. We want the upload. And we'll just cram that up there and we'll call her good. We've done an exciting amount of action here. I'm excited and petrified at the stuff that's coming up next, because the two main things are the stuff that we just mentioned, and also something that, you know, Ashwin was probably the only person that has seen me work on this previously, but the ability of Override Audit to generate diffs in a patch format for all overrides in a package, or for all packages that you have overrides for, store them in one file, which you could then distribute to someone who could load it up and have it applied directly to their version of Sublime Text. So be a easy way to pass and share enhancements with each other, including things like modifications to themes, because we set it up such that you could encode binary files inside of the diff as well, although it would end up being rather large if you were to do such a thing. And those are the sorts of features that we're going to be playing with upcoming. All right. Let me take a quick look at this and There we go. So, huzzah! All that's left now is to fear the fear of the person that horribly borked something in the release channel. I guess we also need to create a release, not in that particular operation, mind you, but in override audit, like so. But that's not something that I'm going to force you guys to watch. Basically, we need a version. Well, there's not a version 2.2.4 there. There better have been a version 2.2.4. Otherwise, we're going to be quite unhappy about this whole situation. I wonder how I forgot that. Anyway, clearly I need to make one of those for 2.2.4 and 2.2.5. And also verify this. We'll make sure that everything is still kosher going forward. And I think that's where we're more or less going to call it for this evening. We're going to have new override audit stuff to work on later. Unless, of course, you have other questions about stuff. Video production is going to not necessarily start, but I'm working towards that, as I mentioned previously. There's still some stuff to sort out there. Pretty happy with how things have gone so far. You know, fighting with Windows 11 notwithstanding. And so this is stuff that we're going to be playing with in the next Twitch stream on Wednesday. The plan is to do a little bit of Svelte type stuff and maybe install Svelte LSP as well as this syntax highlighting packages. All right, so we're going to need that, and we're going to go to package control.io/packages/override.8 to watch the horror unfold. It's officially at 2 hours. So, if it goes down to 1 hour instead of going up anymore, and there's a version 2.2.5 that's listed here, we're doing good. Otherwise, I apologize to everybody for destroying life as we know it, and then we'll fix it up later. For now, though, I think we're going to call it there because we usually like to keep these streams going until 10 o'clock. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with me as we did this. Hopefully, if you've never done a release of a package to package control before, that might be being a little bit elucidating, particularly in regards to being able to limit the version number of Sublime that a package is targeted at. Because I've noticed that Sublime Linter recently updated, and they said that they're using Sublime, they're targeting Sublime Text 4, but then the README says if you use Sublime Text 3, just manually install it and then never ever try to upgrade it. And it seems like that could have been automated. So maybe the authors of that might be interested in knowing that you can do stuff like this. In any case, thanks everybody. We're going to be back next Monday. I actually have everything ready to schedule that up as soon as this one finishes. So if you want to hang around for a minute and see the notification pop and remind yourself, you can totally do that. Otherwise, I will be here streaming on Twitch on Wednesday and Friday, where we're going to be doing a little bit of web development and probably playing with a little bit of LSP, a server that we haven't used previously. We'll see if we come to terms with that. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be bad. I don't know. We'll find out. If you're interested in that sort of thing, don't forget to use the link down in the description below. And that is going to do it for this evening stream. I'm going to go back there and start playing with the video recording stuff again and seeing what else I can tweak up in there. So I hope you all have a fantastic week. Right? And until the next one, please have a sublime...